this is quick, because I don't even really like talking about this, because for some of y'all, just because he let y'all steal some money, some of y'all act like he y'all daddy, and he let you steal the money just so you could vote for him, and he was finna come right back and lock your ass up after he won again.
Hip-hop artist Plies has something to say.
Talking about the raid at Mar-A-Lago and how they went through Melania fucking clothes and clothes. Who the you think Melania is, man? The fucking people mean business. The you talking about they went through her fucking clothes. How the you think this go down when the feds come? Ask them in the hood. Do they go through your clothes? Y'all ain't care they went through Breonna Taylor clothes. Y'all ain't said nothing about that. But they went through your they could have called my lawyer. He could have met them there. What the you think? You think this field trip, man? Call your this ain't no field trip. Them people mean business. They were looking for something. Called your mother. They didn't let us watch. Watch? See, you think this museum? This ain't no museum, man.
The Florida-based entrepreneur puts everything in perspective.
Major developments tonight on the search at Trump's Mar-a-Lago home. The Washington Post is reporting that classified documents relating to nuclear weapons were among the items the FBI agents were searching for while on the property.
I personally approved the decision to seek a search warrant in this matter. The department does not take such a decision lightly.
Authorities say there is an increasing number of threats against lawmakers and law enforcement since the FBI raided former President Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate.
You think the FBI did it? The FBI, which is led by Christopher Wray, a Trump appointee who was confirmed by every Republican who voted in that confirmation. You think they don't know the attacks they're gonna have to deal with if they go through with a raid on a former president? Of course they know.
You think you just get to stand around and watch? Ask them in the hood. When they come at 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, do they let you stand around and watch? They arrest everybody. Only thing I don't even like about this is the fact that they came when they knew he wasn't there. Y'all don't come in the hood when y'all know nobody ain't there. Y'all come when y'all know. Y'all want to come with in the bed with their insurance. Turn the insurance bed, everything goes. So why y'all decided to wait for him to get out of town? Y'all don't wait on nobody in the hood to get out of town. Y'all come when they there. Went through Melania clothes. Nobody give no Melania clothes, man. People can't have to do a job. What's wrong with you?
In fact, somebody in the Trump camp was aware of the fact that President Trump kept a safe, and that in that safe were documents that perhaps he was not going to return, even as after this whole tussle between the National Archives and the Trump White House had been resolved. And that, to me, is the basis for which we saw the raid on Monday.
So the FBI conducted a search inside Trump's Mar-a-Lago residence, and they were tipped off by someone very, very close in Trump's orbit. The spins have now been, which you've likely seen, is they are planting evidence or it's a hoax. And I'm going to focus on the latter because there is a history here. Calling this raid a hoax falls in line with countless times he has uttered this word when the conclusion was the opposite. He called climate change a Chinese hoax. One of the biggest lies of them all. NASA's website reads as follows: scientific evidence continues to show that human activities, primarily the human burning of fossil fuels, have warmed Earth's surface and its oceans basins, which in turn have continued to impact Earth's climate. This is based on over a century of scientific evidence forming the structural backbone of today's civilization. He called Robert Mueller's investigation into Russia's collusion a hoax. The report confirms that Russiagate is no hoax. Whether or not the Trump campaign illegally coordinated with the Kremlin, Trump has no grounds for proclaiming vindication, much less that he's the victim of a witch hunt, wrote The Atlantic.
The whole impeachment thing is a hoax.
He said it to the press with the first impeachment, which was, to many Trump critics, proven. However, Republicans declined to impeach the 45th president, enabling him further, leading to where we are today.
The president claiming Democrats are politicizing coronavirus and calling it, quote, their new hoax.
He called COVID a hoax. Meanwhile, over 6.43 million people have died from the coronavirus. Margaret Levi, professor of political science at Stanford, said of Trump's hoax usage, he is trying to undermine the trustworthiness of any source but himself. The point is to make himself the only credible authority, to be fully trusted as a wartime president. The Washington Post reported the reasoning for this search, which was signed off by a judge and executed by the FBI, as follows. One category of documents the Bureau was looking for related to nuclear weapons. It wasn't clear if those were about U.S. weapons or weapons that belonged to another country, and if they were among the documents agents seized. Mishandling classified info can carry an array of federal felony charges, and information related to nuclear weapons and technology is uniquely sensitive. The head of the DOJ's Counterintelligence and Export Control Section, Jay Bratt, signed the government's filing seeking to unseal the warrant and reportedly visited Mar-a-Lago earlier this summer to review the documents in Trump's possession. Rula Jabril, an award-winning journalist, noted the following. MBS, who invested $2 billion with Trump's son-in-law, Kushner bragged that Jared passed him classified intel. Later, Mohammed bin Salman paid Trump $100 million to host pro golf tournaments at Trump properties. Saudi Arabia has sought to obtain nuclear technology for decades. There was also this. In 2019, NBC News reported former General Michael Flynn, former advisor of national security, and also in the Trump inner circle, might have done this.
The House Oversight Committee will investigate his role in a plan to transfer nuclear technology to Saudi Arabia, something that may have broken laws. But investigators fear Trump may still be considering it. Flynn has already pleaded guilty to lying to the FBI about his conversations with the Russian ambassador during the Trump transition. He has met with special counsel Robert Mueller's team 19 times.
From within President Trump's National Security Council have expressed serious concerns about what they describe as a plan by Michael Flynn and others to ram through a proposal to transfer sensitive nuclear technology to Saudi Arabia. They're flagging it on two rounds, Chris. They're saying that Mike Flynn had a conflict of interest because he had been advising the group that was backing the plan, a group of retired generals. But they're also saying, importantly, Chris, that Flynn and others tried to push this plan through and get an order for Trump to sign without the required review that is necessary whenever the United States transfers nuclear technology to a third country. And in fact, this was a project that was backed by some very prominent retired generals, including Jack Keane, who had been considered by President Trump as Secretary of Defense. But one top official is quoted in the report as saying that this is not a business plan, but a scheme for these generals to make some money.
An analyst and researcher would write, Trump's presidency started with Kushner discussing establishing a back channel at Russian embassy to avoid U.S. intel, Flynn's secret talks with Russia and potential Saudi nuke deal, Trump handing secrets to Russians at Oval Office. Naturally, it would end with theft of nuclear secrets and more.
The reports both from DOJ and independent sources show that Trump was issued a subpoena about returning these documents in the spring. And it came after Trump had returned those 15 boxes of records to the archives that he was not supposed to have in the first place, which included classified material. In June, there was a visit on the 3rd to Mar-a-Lago where the chief counterintel official in the Justice Department went on site, arriving at Mar-a-Lago, discussing the boxes of government records. Trump was there reportedly, so he knew about this, which again is important that this wasn't all somehow kept from him in some bureaucratic miscommunication. He reportedly shook hands, and that part was normal. 5 days later, that official had a written communication with Trump's lawyer requesting the contents that the room in that room be better secured. By late June, the feds had issued the subpoena for surveillance footage, which the Trump team provided. And according to the articles that are coming out tracking this, that's as far as they could identify what happened. Then you have Monday's search.